One of the reasons why I've been enjoying just the process of writing every day is that it falls within my zone of competency. It's an area that I am good at, and it makes the process much easier when you're working at something that you find yourself to be very, very good at. I was reminded very quickly today how little of skill that I have in many areas of life. I was for the day, basically I didn't get a whole lot of writing done today as I was meeting with a client, and we actually had to play a round of golf, so I was just kind of going along with it, just more or less to kind of close the sale here. And I was I think I've played, I think, like a handful of games of golf in my entire life. Like I know the most basic aspects of it to like just be able to do well, or just to like know what I'm doing. And I ended up shooting, I think I shot like a 57 on like a par 24 or something like that on a back nine. So really, really bad, like really very awful. And again, it was obviously, it was fun. It was what it was. I certainly, I wasn't getting discouraged at all by how bad I played. It was just, something I had to do for potentially, making the sale there. But it reminded me of how much I sort of miss writing when I'm not writing, in a sense. And it's not always just for the creative part. There's an element of being very comfortable in the safety of doing something that you are good at. And I know this sort of thinking, this sort of complacency, it's not always very popular. I know a lot of people tell you to like develop weaknesses and sort of develop the things that you're not good at. For me, it's always been, I'm good at maybe like five things, like in life, that like I'm competent and I can do things well, maybe like five different areas in life. And that's where I want to stay. Like I want to develop those five areas to like their extreme. I've talked a lot about, or I've mentioned in prior videos, the idea of like a skill tree, like much like you would play like an RPG. You have like a certain skill tree, and if you play an RPG, if you're putting basically all of your skill points into different areas, you never get to maximize the full potential of any one skill. So your idea is to just put a couple of skill points into just a couple of areas, basically, and then maximize those to get the full like kind of cool powers, or whatever you unlock in the video games, to take advantage of. And that's kind of the same thing with me. It's like there's like maybe five things that I'm good at potentially, and it's like put all my skill points in those areas. And even when I say competent, it's like there's no way it's evenly dispersed, at all. Just even for context, but put all the skill points in a couple of those areas and stay in the safe waters of what you're good at has always been something that I tend to follow. For me, it doesn't make sense to try things that I good at and I don't enjoy. Often the things that I am not good at are just things I don't enjoy. Otherwise, I would be doing them, right. If I enjoyed golfing like to a great extent, then I'd be golfing. I would be practicing all the time. I'd be playing, my free time, practicing, trying to take strokes off my game, basically. But because I don't enjoy it, I don't put any effort into doing it. And that kind of stratisfaction. I can't remember what the freaking word is. Like stratified, like that. That's that type of like stratified thinking, where it's like you do the couple areas that you really enjoy and then nothing else. I find for me, it allows me to kind of maximize, again, what I do with my time. I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think everybody should just say no to everything except for the couple things they really enjoy and are really good at. But just for me, it's worked well. It's worked well for me. I don't feel like I'm missing out on something because I don't do something else. But yeah, again, for me, it makes it way easier. It makes it really, really a lot easier to just do something like that, to go out of my zone of comfort and then come back into it and write. Like writing is way, way easier, I've found, when I am doing something else that I'm not good at, and I come back to this and I can go, well, the story isn't great, or in this case, basically, it's like, yeah, the story is okay, but it needs a little bit of fix, needs a little bit of correction. It's way easier to approach it that way, like to go, the story needs a little bit of correction, and make the changes, than it is to like agonize over it every single day when you haven't maybe experienced being in a situation where you aren't particularly good. Now it just makes the monotony in the drudgery a lot easier to deal with when you sort of dip your toes in the water on the other end and see, well, okay, you can do things that are different from writing, but not particularly good, and it's just gonna be kind of a time suck, and you're gonna hate, you're gonna be very mad the entire time. So just stick to the writing. But yeah, that's today's lesson, I guess. That's kind of what I learned today. Just stick to the areas that you're very good at, and just kind of suck it up when you have to do things outside of that.